To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house. Home, that is. My very haunted home, where I live. Been quiet today. Well, let me see. The dream catcher is spinning a little bit, but it feels good here today. So, what do I want to say to you guys other than thank you all for tuning in, taking an hour out of your busy Friday afternoons to come and spend with me and my guest and my co-producer. I don't have a show without you guys, so God bless you all for that. And I know you all tune in for my guests, not for me, and that's the way it should be. And you all know my guest and love her. She hasn't been on in about a year. It's been way too long, and she's in the green room. I'll bring her right out, but it's going to be a great show. Let's check the prayer urn. I cheated that time and peeked in there. I just grabbed the prayer right on top. Wilma K. from Texas. Hi, Wilma. I don't travel well. I don't either. But I have to for business. Could you say a prayer for me for safe travels? Oh, Wilma, absolutely I will. Absolutely. Yeah, many people nowadays are doing, they either don't want to work or in order to work, they have to do some traveling. And I don't travel well either, whether it's for business or pleasure or whatever the case may be. I'm a total homebody. So for all the travelers out there, this prayer will go up for Wilma and all of you. Okay. I offer this prayer up for Wilma and all the travelers out there. In the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O God, you called Abraham, your servant, out of Ur and kept him safe and sound in all his wandering. We humbly ask you to protect us, your servants, before us a support when setting out, friendship along the way, a little shade from the sun, a safeguard in time of danger, and a haven in shipwreck. Bear us up in fatigue and defend us under attack. Under your protection, let us fulfill the purpose of our trip and return safe and sound to our home. Amen. Wilma, keep me posted on your trip. Let me know how that went. Okay, let's check the Paranormal Ministry mailbag. Patricia F. from New York. New York. My guest is from New York today. As bad as you have heard it is here. As bad as you have heard it is here. I guess she means New York. It's been even worse. I'll have to ask my guest about that. I'm physically gifted, or I'm psychically gifted. So is my guest. This is too weird. And I see evil everywhere. I feel at times I'm targeted. How can I keep the evil at bay? I believe in God, but not overly religious. That is totally okay, Patricia. What I would suggest to you, you believe in God. I would assume you're either Christian or Catholic. Started trying to attend Mass as often as you can on a regular basis. If you're Catholic, Saturday confession, Sunday Mass, receive the Eucharist, Holy Communion. I would do a good smudging and blessing of your home with some blessed incenses or some sage or Palo Santo wood or sweetgrass. Sprinkle holy water all over the place. Pray when you wake up. Pray when you go to bed. Sprinkle some blessed salts down on the all the doors that lead outside on the ground at the foot of those doors, and just be careful. Be a good person. Try to be the best version of yourself you can every day, and just avoid things that you know you should avoid, so that you don't become a target. And I'll pray for you, and I'll add you to my prayer list. I promise. And keep me posted on how things are going out there. And I'll ask my guest today about that. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And if you go there to visit, remember my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So, brothers and sisters, I know it's tough out there. But if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, please click on it and send our ministry in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. In addition to being an ordained exorcist, I'm also a certified spiritual advisor. So if you have issues of a spiritual nature, not paranormal, and you'd like to make an appointment to speak with me about that, there's a place on the website to do that. But don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called the WSE course/book. On that page, you'll find the ghost store. Lots of cool things to buy if you go for that sort of stuff. But scroll past the ghost store and you'll see my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, scariest book I ever published. That was my publisher, Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. If you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Nevada, and the ASPCA. So it's a no-brainer. You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. How cool is that? More importantly than all of that, I'm getting lots, for the past couple of years, I've gotten a lot of reports from people that have purchased the book from me off of the website because they sit here in my office. I autograph them. They come to you in a house blessing kit. You can get them a little less expensive at Amazon, but if you buy it from me off of the website, if you've received the book and you've had any paranormal issues, I want to hear your story because you never know. It might end up in a book or a show, but I want to hear from you. This entity right here, bottom picture that's in the book, we're not sure if it's a little boy or a little girl. Once I published the book and started bringing the book into the house, I saw that apparition here many times in my home. My wife has seen it too. It's not malevolent, at least we don't feel it is. But some of the readers that have purchased this book from my website have reported having not only paranormal activity in their book or in their home, but they've seen that apparition in their home since the book has arrived. I find that amazing, and I want to hear all those stories. And let alone my publisher alone could write a book about all the paranormal experiences she had editing this book. But that's a story for another day. Scroll a little bit further down on that page, and you'll see the Worldwide Society of Exorcists, which I'm a founding member. I offer a 12-week online college-level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the WSC. And that's a course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that feel a calling and a longing to want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, and putting up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. No, you're not going to learn how to be an exorcist. That's a completely different calling. But this course will teach you exactly what it says it will. It's an introduction to spiritual warfare through my eyes, through what I've experienced over the years, and how you can combat that. You can enroll in the course there at the website. If you'd like more information before making that type of commitment, there is a Worldwide Society of Exorcists Facebook page, or just call me, reach out to me, and I'll talk to you about the course and see if it's right for you. Most importantly, please keep my former, current, and future students in your prayers. All my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. Okay, the moment of truth, literally. And the reason why you all tuned in. I love her. I respect her. I don't know anyone like her. She's so cool. Um, and who knows where this conversation will go, but I know it's going to be a good one. The rock psychic herself, all the way from near Niagara Falls in New York. Please welcome to the show the one and only Chicky Hot.
Hello, Shawn Whittington.
Chicky poo.
How you doing?
We talked about it a little bit in the green room, and I mentioned it to Zach that you and I had probably an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation on
3 hours, darling. That was
it's
3 hours.
Oh my god,
That was 3 hours.
I'm telling you, it flew by like it just flew by. And I mean that because I enjoy. It's been a long time since we chatted. I enjoy chatting with you. And here's the thing: I realized since my show's only an hour long, if we talked for 3 hours, that was probably three good shows. And unfortunately, the kinds of things that you and I sometimes talk about, and this has happened to me before in the show, and I don't want to get any of the powers that be, mad at me, but I've had shows taken down off of whatever platforms I'm on. I won't call any of them out, but I've been had my shows episodes taken down because of certain topics that I've talked about with guests. So I want you to talk about anything you want to talk about, and if the show gets taken down, it gets taken down. But you be you. That's what everybody tunes in for. But we'll try and not get too overly crazy. But um, I realized when I got off our conversation with you the other day that I didn't ask you some of the most important things, like how was your Christmas, how was your New Year's, um, do you make any resolutions? Do you do anything weird like I do on New Year's Eve? What's going on with you?
All right. Christmas to start off with. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Yeah, we had a blizzard. I don't know if the nation heard
That
about it.
that is right. I forgot. Oh my gosh, that was a bad one.
There was 8-foot snowdrifts. People were trapped in their homes, and sadly, some individuals did lose their lives. In some of the communities here in Western New York, we have some mobile homes, and some of the mobile homes that are newly manufactured have their heating vents from their furnaces down at the bottom of the house rather than on the roof like the old school houses. So unfortunately, the snow blocked all of the vents
Oh,
and people perished from CO poisoning. So it was a very sad, sad situation. So if those that are out there that have faith, whether it be spiritual or it be within the churches, or the synagogues or the mosques, please, within your hearts, be able to say a prayer for those that have lost their lives, and of course for their families that are grieving. A lot of loss around the holidays. It was a very tough one. A lot of people got trapped in the blizzard, and they people tried, so people were forced to be able to go to work, like healthcare workers, and some of those individuals perished. You couldn't get through. It was a nightmare. It really was. It was so unfortunate and sad, and there was nothing that I could be able to do. But luckily my boyfriend is a very strong military man, and he managed to be able to get out, and he went to the elderly, he went to the disabled, and he shoveled them out. 8-foot snowdrifts, he shoveled them out with teams of other people, and they worked from dusk to dawn to dusk, all the way around, to be able to dig people out. And he was a hurting unit. He was, when he was done. But there's so many people that were so grateful to be dug out. They couldn't get out of the houses.
oh wow, that's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
yeah.
Um, but on a lighter note, you mentioned your boyfriend. I have to say how pretty you look today,
Thank you.
and I also have to say a lot of people don't know this about you. I'm not going to give away your age. I'm older. I'm older than you, but you don't look your age.
Thank you.
You looked. I told you how old I thought you looked, and I was being honest. And you told
Thank you.
me how old you were, and I was. But a lot of people don't know this about you. And you mentioned your boyfriend. You are like a legitimate cougar.
Shh.
You got this young, strapping 30-year-old uh, vet. I don't know if he's still in the service or not, taking care of you out there. God bless you. You look happy, and it couldn't happen to a better person. And I wish the two of you, after we got off our conversation the other night, I said a couple of prayers for both of you because
Thank you.
we've all had our issues with relationships over the years in our lifetime, and you included. And I just hope this one is the one.
I do too. I have confidence and faith.
I'm well, you everybody knows I'm a weirdo. Um, I'm on the fence if you're weirder than I am. Probably not. But here I am. I'm a seminarian, formerly an ordained reverend from a Christian university. But here I am. I can be a bit superstitious, which clergy in my field always complain to me. You don't have to be. It's just that's just me. But I do weird things on New Year's Eve, like you know, uh, I mop my floor with ice and then throw the ice out. I travel around at the stroke of midnight. I travel around the house with my luggage. I open the door at the stroke of midnight to let the bad juju out and let the good juju in and shut the door. I have 12 grapes at the 12 strokes of midnight. I don't drink, but
Yeah.
that night I will crack a bottle of champagne and have a glass of champagne with the wife.
Yeah.
What else do I do? Oh, I have to have black eyed peas.
Okay.
Um,
Good luck.
and I forget what else I do. But I'm a weirdo like that. Did you do any resolutions or do anything weird on New Year's Eve?
Okay. So, insofar as resolutions, I don't do resolutions because it's too mainstream. I do a vision board. And what I do is I print out photos of the things that I'd like to give my energy to and my focus to, and I will paste those photos onto a vision board. I'll give you a quick glimpse of it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna write
There it
that
is.
down.
There
I
you go.
love
Right
that.
there it is. You see it?
Oh yeah, I
There you go.
love that. I'm gonna write that down. I have never heard about that before.
Oh, yeah, it's a wonderful life coaching tool. Now, as far as New Year's Eve goes, every New Year's Eve, I do have a ritual, and the ritual is to spend the time with the Nappin crew. And a nice little group of us will get together and video chat in the Nappin chat. We have a lot of chats up there, but one of them is our video chat. And we will broadcast the ball drop. And we all go ahead and wish each other a happy new year with positivity, love, and compassion and grace.
That's wonderful. I knew that that was going to be a good question for you because I didn't know exactly what you did, but I knew you did something special. And you've also mentioned napping. But my show is not as long as it used to be, so let me make sure I get that out of the way because everybody's already been asking me all about you. Because I have a lot of people that uh, well, obviously they didn't follow you close enough to not know where you still were, but you're not so
Mhm.
much on Facebook anymore. So they wondered when I posted you were going to be on the show. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to Chicky? Where's she been?" So I mean, you really just aren't on Facebook much anymore, but n- things haven't changed for you. You still have, um, did I write it down? You've got nappin.net, NAPPN.net.
Yeah, North American Psychic Paranormal Network. Yes.
You've got chickyhot, all one word.com.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
And you have, I love this one, loveschurch, all one word.com.
Uh-huh.
And you also have beinspiredradio.net.
Yes.
Talk to me about all these things. Give my paranormal ministry family that is familiar with you, that wondered what happened to her, shame on them for not making sure they somehow followed you, even though you weren't on here much. Tell everybody about all those things.
Well, I haven't left the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network. I'm a strong advocate for free speech, and I like to be able to say what's on my mind. And if I have questions about things, I don't want to be shut up. I like to be able to say, what does this mean? I hear a lot of conspiracy. I hear a lot of hearsay. I hear a lot of media bunk for the most part. And I question it. I question everything. Even Alex Jones. What are you talking about? And I'm a debunker. I'm not one that's going to say immediately that's a ghost or that's an orb or that's this or that or whatever. I'm always going to ask questions, and I don't want to be hushed. So that's one of the reasons why I left said platform. Okay, that we were speaking of earlier, where we're currently broadcasting, and why I don't really have a strong presence there because I feel as though we're being inhibited from asking questions. They just want you to accept, and that is what it is. And God bless them. Okay, they don't want to create hysteria. People don't like change, and God bless them. Okay, but it is what it is. But I've been on the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network religiously every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm always there in the nap and chat, and I'm there at 8 o'clock in the evenings. And every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's where you find me. I'm there from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And then there are people that hang out later, and there's text chats, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on. But I'm in the Jitsi chat. So I'm there. People know where to be able to find me. People go, "Oh, yeah, why haven't you been doing shows? Why are you not doing this? Where do you want me to do a show?" We're not allowed to do shows technically anymore and have free speech. It's a different environment now. It's a different time and a different age because we don't want to excite hysteria because there's too much bunk going on and people are talking about the wrong things. We're going to leave that right there. Now, with regards to Be Inspired Radio, BeInspiredRadio.com and BeInspiredRadio.net is my homegrown radio station. I broadcast my Rock Psychic Diaries, my personal content. I welcome you to be able to broadcast on there too.
And should I break the news now, or do we want it to be?
Go ahead.
Well, if everything works out, you so graciously invited me to send you the archive replays right after my live broadcast to your network, your radio station, and you would host it and play it.
Yes.
And that was a very gracious offer, and I've accepted. And so, if I would love this episode to be the first one on inspiredradio.net, or is it .net? Yeah.
Yeah, .net.com. Both of them go to the same place.
This would be the best to start there. This would be a great episode.
Definitely.
Hopefully, that works out later, and Zach can get that over to you. And you
certainly, I appreciate that, Zach. Thank you. So, and I can guarantee you will not be inhibited of your free speech. And you will have a global audience. You will be broadcasted multiple replays throughout the day. And you'll be mixed in there with a whole bunch of other broadcasters, and we welcome new broadcasters all the time. So hit us up. And
let me. I'm glad. That you and I must be a little psychically connected because I was just about to ask that question. Let's throw this out there to the masses. I know lots of people that are hosts their own radio shows. Some say, I don't want my face on camera because I have a face for radio, is what they'll say to you. Some of them know that's they want to do that, but they don't know how to do it, go on camera. Some are happy just staying with the radio show, but I hear great things about inspiredradio.net. For all of the hosts that contact me all the time saying they're not happy with the network they're with, or they're not happy with the program director or the station manager or whatever the case may be, and they'd like to make a move, how can these hosts reach out to you and talk about bringing their show there?
Well, if you want to be able to hit me up, you can be able to go up to the website, hit the contact form. And I don't want to give out email addresses because apparently people are spamming my email addresses. They think it's cute and funny to be able to put me out on the dark web, and that's not appreciated, But you go to and you use the contact form on the website. You can go on napin.net or you can go on beinspiredradio.net, use the contact form and just say, hey, I want to get my content. Let's do business. Okay. I'll do business with you. You take care of me. I take care of you. Shawn here, he takes good care of me and I take good care of him. We take care of each other. And, I believe in the barter system. Okay. Whether you want to barter with money, you want to be able to barter with good deeds, you want to be able to share promotion, however you want to be able to do it. Let's get creative. I'm willing to be able to talk business with you. But, again, you got to be able to take care of those who are willing to take care of you. And I'm going to lay that to you. We try to be fair. With regards to Love's Church, I'm really pleased because this is a good thing and a bad thing because there's a lot of churches coming up for sale as of lately. Something's happening with all of our brick and mortar churches, and they're coming up for sale. Now, being that I'm a reverend as well, I have been in the market to be able to buy a church, like a brick and mortar church, for many, many years now. And my opportunities are knocking. Almost, I'd say 2 to 3 churches per town are coming up onto the market. And they're becoming very, very reasonably priced. So one of the big things that's going to be coming down the pipe is Love's Church is going to turn into a brick and mortar animal where we're going to be broadcasting live video services. Of course, with yours truly, I'm going to have a few other key people joining me. However, that Love's Church is going to be a brick and mortar thing soon enough. So we're looking forward to that too. But Love Church also, we do the Love's Church sermons. They're all saved up onto the website for the time being. And we're going to be changing hosts in the upcoming months. So a little bit of a changeover. Things are going to be moving over to Be Inspired Radio instead of podcasts and saved content and such. But the stuff's still up there. You can listen to the older services. And if you want to get more involved and you want to become a broadcaster, if you're a member of the clergy and you want to be able to help to do services on Love's Church, sure, hit me up. We'll incorporate you into Be Inspired Radio. The more the merrier, as long as we're talking about, positivity and serving, like I said, there's a lot of fear-based content out there. We're talking about a lot of changes happening in our environment, and in our society and on our planet. And as long as you've got a positive message, you're not spewing fear, you're not going ahead and, taking conspiracies and making it death, doom and destruction and gloom and all this other kind of stuff. And you're talking about how people can embrace changes and be positive instead of being able to get people fear-based and kill them off with fear by stressing them out. Let's do something positive. Let's teach people the skills through spirituality on how to be able to embrace these changes for the positivity and for the good of mankind.
You're doing some wonderful things. That's what I've always loved about you. I mean, you haven't really changed. You've been this way since
Mm-mm.
the day one that I met you, and I've known you for years. But I'm gonna, you know, uh, get a little dark here for a second. And
Okay.
it's not just Catholicism; it's the synagogues, it's the mosques. Um, there's a lot of religious persecution going on right now. A lot of these churches are being blown up, vandalized, burnt down. Why do you feel so many of these brick and mortar churches are coming up for sale, and it almost feels like they're being abandoned? That the clergy that was there is walking away from it. Does it have anything to do with the persecution thing, or these coming under attack, or just is it just the way of the world right now?
All right. Back, and I think I may have mentioned this a whiles ago, but I'll bring it up again that back in the beginning of COVID, the churches were all shut down. You remember that?
Yep.
Everybody was shut. No more congregating. That's it. We didn't care. They didn't care if you were in your vehicle with the windows closed, listening to a broadcast over the radio, just being present to be able to feel the love of God amongst your fellow practitioners. But the thing is that when you have a congregation, you have people being able to get together and they're doing this and they're doing this. It doesn't matter if you're listening to the good word of God, you're still congregating. And the thing is that a lot of people are very fear-based right now. They're very scared of the changes that are coming down the pipe. And like I said, God bless them, but you have to find God. You need to be able to find God in you. Okay. It's not just only finding an entity that doesn't exist, in your atheist belief or whatever it is, or being able to believe in something that you can't see. There's God in you. You're a powerful creator. But the thing is that you create your own reality. And you have to be able to realize that when your next door neighbor or your fellow practitioner or somebody else that's in your church of the congregation is being very fear-based, they're not believing in themselves that they can be able to manage, that they can be able to cope, and they're going to be into a victim mindset. And I think a lot of all of this fear-based mindset about this is bad for you, that's bad for you, don't do this, don't do that, oh, this will kill you, or whatever it may be. You got so much of this rhetoric going on that it makes it very difficult for congregations to continue, just as what's going on with social media right now with the limitations on free speech and how people gather to talk about certain topics that are considered maybe conspiracy or fear-based, or putting the fear of God in people, where they are becoming hampered by their fear. They're stuck like deer in the headlights. So I think, in my humble opinion, that this is what's happening, because people are congregating, but they're congregating. And then where are they going after church in these groups? They're going out for lunch. They're getting together at, somebody's house for coffee. And everybody's talking about these issues that are coming down the pipe and things that are on the news and all of this hearsay and nonsense and bunk, and 99.99% of what you're hearing about is bunk. It is, because you're hearing about stuff on the news, the media, news and media. It's all going to be sensationalized. Of course, it's all going to be blown up to be able to get ratings. And these people are taking this to church, and it's becoming polluted. It's becoming corrupted.
Yeah, it's really depressing, um, and it's sad.
Yeah.
I know that people like you and I and many other people that I know and love, those types of people, we're all going to be
Yeah.
okay. But it's going
Yeah.
to get, I think it's going to get a lot uglier before it gets better. And I tell people all the time, just be strong. Be
Yeah.
strong in not only your faith but in within yourself.
Yeah.
Um, Now I know you're big on, you help a lot of people, all walks of life, men, women, whatever sexual preference they are. You don't judge. Um, Age different doesn't matter. So, you know what? I'm going to ask you this question. That Patricia from New York, I don't know what area in New York. You're near Niagara Falls.
Mhm.
Um, Now, I rudely assumed she was either Christian or Catholic, and I'm sorry for
Yeah.
that, Patricia. If you're not, she may not be. She said she believed in God, but she suspects she's psychically gifted.
Hmm.
She sees evil everywhere. She says, as bad as you've heard it is here in New York, it's even worse. Um, this is like, I bet you probably 99% of the other notes in my mailbag and many in the prayer urn are like this. What what would the good Reverend Chicky Hot, the rock psychic, have to say to help these kind of people?
All right. It's funny. I was just talking about this about an hour with somebody about an hour before we came live. And evil is, hey, this person's victimizing me. This person's doing something bad. This person's doing something wrong. Rule number one, mind your own business. You get a busybody, you have somebody, nosing about, you're listening to all this hearsay, you listen to all this bunk, you see people doing things. How are you hearing about these things? Through media. Either that or you're reading about it in your local newspaper. Everything's sensationalized right now because everybody wants to be able to make a buck in the final throes of capitalism, whatever's left of it, right? So the thing is that you can keep evil at bay through your perception. Energy flows where attention goes. I can't emphasize that enough. Just get off the computer, stop with the news, stop paying attention to what's going on with your this one, your that one, who's doing what, who's doing this or that, or whatever, the politics or whatever it is that you're nosing into. Go outside. Go take a drive, for heaven's sakes. Go take a walk in the woods. Be able to go sit in the park. Bundle up. Go play with the pigeons. Who cares? Look at the squirrels. Do something with nature. Divert yourself. And this is a way that we cope. We sometimes be able to distract ourselves. Your free will lives within your perception and how you choose to be able to look at your environment and your life and your circumstances. You could say that people are evil. Are there people banging down your door? I have to ask that question. Are there people coming into your house and beating you up and taking your food out of your refrigerator and making you feel unsafe? If they're not doing that in this exact 1 minute, you got nothing. You got nothing. You're looking at other people's stuff, and maybe your heart is big. Maybe you've got a lot of compassion, and maybe you've got your ability to feel empathetic for other people in other situations. Going, oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. Well, what's good? Yeah, don't keep on focusing on all the negative stuff. Go watch like a George Carlin video. Have a
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
what's with
George Carlin.
Renan, yeah, or Stephen Wright, be able to, focus on the good things in life, and if you can't do that, you don't, you're done with the internet, fine, disconnect your internet. You don't need it. Because if that's what's hurting you and harming you, then get away from it. There's other things you can be able to do to connect with your community. Go to the local soup kitchen, okay, the local food pantry. Go and volunteer your time. Be able to get involved with your community and start doing good things for the people that are in a lesser position than yourself. And maybe you're disabled, maybe you can't, okay? But there's even something called 7 Cups of Tea. And you can be able to get onto that website. They even give you free training on how to be something called an active listener. Start being able to listen to other people's problems. Then it's going to put your stuff into perspective and make you realize, is this really happening to me? Oh, this
Yeah,
person just lost their cat. They just lost their dog. They just lost their mother, their father. Somebody, this and this happened. It makes you get a grip on the big picture. And I took notes. I did while I was listening to you read her letter, and I'm looking at all of this. And I agree with you, Shawn. She needs to go to church. She needs to get more involved in her community. And it's not just only about church or
just reading
yeah.
her notes, she seemed very. And what I do, these notes are actually handwritten by me, but I
Mm-hmm.
get the message and then
Yes.
I just copy it down. And I try to
Yeah.
copy down word for word.
Yeah.
Sometimes I may misspell something, or
Yeah.
maybe I leave something out if I'm in a hurry. But when I was reading her message, I felt isolation, and I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
she felt alone and she felt isolated. And so
Mm-hmm.
getting out is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. And,
She's
and
probably
yeah.
scared to get out.
Yeah.
How bad is it in New York? I mean, you hear all
It's
these.
not. It's
Everybody's
not.
either going to Texas or everybody's leaving. I know many people in California that I've known all my life that that lived there all their lives have left to go to Texas. Many people that I know in New York have left to go to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, you're near Niagara Falls. What's going on out there?
Well, to be honest with you, absolutely nothing. Then we got
Really?
legalization of cannabis. Everybody's stoned and having sex and having a good time. What are you gonna do? What
Yeah,
are you gonna do? You know,
I
you
hear
know, you
you.
got smoke shops on every street corner now. There's more smoke shops than there are liquor stores. You know,
Uh,
so what are you going to do, right? But the point here is that you got to keep yourself around positive minded people that are equally as blessed as you are. And if you can't find people like that, then you need to be able to seek those people out for support. The ones that are positive minded, the people that are blessed, the people that are positive, and you have to seek that out because you attract what you are. Okay, and what you believe is going to be real to you until you decide to wake up one day and say, I had enough of this. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't like this. I'm changing my ways. I'm going to start focusing on things. I don't care if you go out and you buy yourself a rose and you just stare at the imperfection of that rose. But you know what? Every single rose, as imperfect as it is still beautiful.
yeah.
And that's what you need to look for. You need to find the perfection in the imperfection. And that's what's going to get you through your days.
I knew that. I knew that I was going to love talking to you today because I always feel really good after our conversations. But we may be making a weird turn here, a U turn or a left or a right off of this current path we're on. Um, I promoted, and everybody who's been reaching out, oh, we love it. Doesn't she predict stuff? Your resume. I encourage people to go to, I think it's chickyhot.com.
Yes.
You've got the about you, your resume there, and it talks about some of
Mhm.
the really famous predictions that you've made about stuff over the years. And then I jokingly said I'm going to try to get some 2023 predictions out of her. Well, that's all people have been reaching out to me all week saying, "Oh, we can't wait." So listen, this is what I'm going to say to you. Whatever happens to the show happens to the show. Um, I'm going to ask for some rock psychic before we run out of time. Some rock psychic 2023 predictions, and they can be anything that's close to your heart, anything that's you're just vibing on, anything that, regardless of the topic, what you think people need to hear right now from you on this show. I don't care what it is. If show gets taken down, it gets taken down.
Oh, wow.
Um, uh, and I'll shut up now.
All right. So it's very interesting because this morning in my meditations, I said trees. And I said to myself, trees? What are you doing? Trees, trees. What? What is this all about? And I see mini forests going up everywhere. And I'm like, let me jump out in time and see what's going on. And this is going to be happening in dribs and drabs, and initiatives and programs are going to be coming up to be able to encourage forestation. Now, we've heard a lot in the media and in the news about farmland being bought up. And we were like, well, where are they going to grow the food? Well, the food's going to be, is already, it's getting 3D printed. We're having biotechnologically printed. It's all the same molecular thing. You know, you can reproduce that in science. Okay. But it's not going to come from the same sources. Like corn is a perfect example of a biotechnologically, engineered food. Okay. But now they can 3D print it. Kind of a nice thing. Okay. And this is all stuff that has come down the pipe even and been proven by multiple articles that have been sourced from the World Economic Forum. It's part of their big plan. But the trees, what about the trees, right? Well, trees are the key to being able to cure climate change. So we are going to start seeing initiatives to plant a tree. And there are going to be incentives to create, if you have a farm, to be able to stop growing your crops and start planting trees because trees absorb carbon. Carbon is the number one cause for climate change. So you can mark my
Very
words on that.
interesting. Very
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Yeah. A matter of fact, Sharon and I were just talking. We've had some trees. I live in the desert, and we're under
Mhm.
extreme water restrictions here. And because of that, I've tried my best with the little bit of watering I'm allowed to do. I've had
Mhm.
a few nice trees on my property that were here when we moved in die,
Mhm.
and it's depressing. But we were just talking about the other day doing some more planting around the
Yes.
property.
Yeah.
One, I think it'll please the elementals that are here.
Yes.
Um, but it's tricky. You've got to be very careful, or it's just going to die because you've got to have stuff and it doesn't have to be succulents,
Yeah.
but you got to be careful what you plant here in southern
Yeah.
Nevada,
Yeah.
where you don't have enough water to water it.
Mhm.
Um, is there anything that you want to tell anybody that they should really be watchful about, like their money or
Okay.
the
Yes.
food they eat or um, any political
Okay. All right.
crap?
Well, I don't want to go there with political because the political is just a distraction from the bigger picture for all the global changes that are happening. So don't. So if between you, me, and your audience, please, folks, don't feed into that. It looks like it's important. It's not important. What's important is you just taking care of you. That's what's important. So, with regards to money, there's a lot of us out there who have got retirement accounts. There's a lot of us out there that have money in the stock market, whether it be a 401k or annuities or whatever it may be, right? What I'm going to be able to do is suggest, and I want to strongly suggest for that matter, but I want to be able to say, please, to be able to move your savings, if you will, that is in your stock market, very specifically stock market, into something that cannot take losses. We've seen losses with the stock market over the past year, and we had a prediction on the North American Psychic and Paranormal Network. We were in great discussion about the stock market last weekend, specific words about a test, very, very specifically, a test coming up to be able to test thresholds on the New York Stock Exchange. And sure enough, this week, an article came up. I guess it was like on Wednesday or something about a test coming up for to be able to test the thresholds on the stock exchange. So that was an accurate prediction. And this is something I'm going to relay to your audiences with caution. And I want you to be able to say, it, be able to not take risks. That's what I'm going to be able to tell you with the utmost of tact. I'm not telling you to be able to withdraw 100%, okay? But I'm going to tell you to use your discretion and what does risk mean to you, and to be able to move things into products, if you will, whether it be certificates of deposit or other types of products that may exist out there. Well, you won't get taxed through the wazoo, for your retirement accounts, if you will. But to be able to look at products that are going to be able to offer you minimal risk for a period of time. It's not something permanent, but a period of time, because there's going to be some volatile types of movements over the upcoming weeks. And then we're going to be able to see the big gazoo, if you will. So we only have so many listeners and so many people within the sound of my voice, but you're hearing it right here and now. And of course, I want to see people be able to not have psychological breakdowns. So you're hearing it now. Please tell your friends, please tell your families to be able to exercise caution in the stock market over the upcoming weeks.
Very interesting. And real quick to the gentleman that asked a couple of times if the show is live. Yes, it's live.
Yes.
Um, the only time the show's not live is it premieres at midnight, every Monday night at midnight or 12 a.m. Tuesday, and every Friday at midnight or 12 a.m. Saturday. This show premieres as a archive on my YouTube channel, Reverend Shawn Whittington. Um, but when it's 2 o'clock Fridays and 5 o'clock Mondays, the show is live if you're here on Facebook Live. Um, so let me ask you this. You have retreats. You offer retreats. I wish I lived closer. Gosh, I would love to come and spend the day with you, and just do whatever it is you do with these people on these day long retreats. Especially, you've got one that talks about spending the day up by Niagara Falls. So let's talk. I know you don't work with spirit much, and paranormal doesn't have to have anything to do with ghosts, but address whatever you want to say about ghosts and the paranormal in terms of ghosts. And when people come and do a day retreat with you, and you go to Niagara Falls, which has had its fair share of people committing suicides and a lot of Indian burial grounds, but so much energy there. Talk about all of that.
Okay. So, one of the favorite things amongst all of the persons that I've taken on day retreats is the meditation. We go out to something called Three Sisters Islands, which is a series of islands off of what's called Goat Island within Niagara Falls State Park. And you've got the rapids that are behind Niagara Falls, breaking on the rocks of these islands. We sit and we close our eyes and we just feel, and we're one with the water, we're one with the trees, we're one with nature. And we learn how to be able to meditate. We learn how to be able to become present during those moments. And I will tell you that during that time of, especially that part of the retreat, that when you stand up and you come out of your meditative state, you're not the same. You're not the same. All your worries have drifted away. You've got so much serotonin, so much dopamine, so many good, happy brain chemicals flowing through your mind and through your body that you're euphoric. You have to like grab on to something because you feel like you're floating on a cloud. It's an
Absolutely.
incredible feeling, totally incredible. With regards to the paranormal, we've done some paranormal investigations up there just to be people have wanted to experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've gone ahead, we've used a ghost box. We've done that. There was an individual as well who had supposedly committed suicide and walked off the island and into the rapids and was swept away and over the rocks and over the falls. And, we ended up getting some messages across and to be able to get greater clarity into that situation. There's been numerous things that we've done on Goat Island, especially because of how much nature there is. The animals love that area, and being able to converge with the animals and with nature. I mean, even skunks, for heaven's sakes, you can still be able to appreciate them from a distance. But the birds, there are some birds that'll come right over to you, and you put your hand out, they'll come right into your hand. It's an incredible experience. And when you are, so to speak, zen on these retreats and your brain is just totally, zen and chill and everything like that, that this is the type of thing. This is where nature sees you as no threat, and they will walk right up to you. The squirrels will come right up to you. The geese will come right up to you, and they're not looking for food. They're like, "Ooh, you do no harm. You're zen. You're like me." So it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience, and being able to go around and just be able to even learn how to cloud burst. We did that during another session, learning how to be able to use our minds to be able to formulate words in clouds. So if you focus, it's just water vapor. That's all it is. And writing, the one thing we love to do, write the word love in clouds, and there it is, the word love in puffy white clouds. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. But we don't understand our full potential until we embrace it with our own belief and our own eyes to be able to say, did I just do that? But yeah, it's an incredible experience. It really is. It's phenomenal, to say the least.
This may be the last thing I ask you tonight because we've got probably about 6, 7 minutes left before I
Yeah.
have to sadly say goodbye until we meet again, which I'm going to make sure I'm with you a couple more times this year. I don't know why it's been a year since we talked, because I spaced it and I don't see you on here a lot, so I just spaced it. But here's the thing: um, you are on a very short list of people that are psychically gifted that I know are legitimate, but your gift is a little different. So let's address. I talk to a lot of psychics that they'll either say it's an angel I get my messages from, or God, or they'll say I tap into source or source knowledge, or my spirit guides. How does your gift work? And like, if I just happened to be in your neighborhood and was going to go on an investigation because somebody thought there was something malevolent, a malevolent presence at a location, wanted me to come check it out, and I decided I'm going to call Chicky because she's around the corner and just bring her. I'm not going to tell her what I expect from her. I'm just going to bring her along,
Okay.
just to say I had the rock psychic with me. How does your gift work, and then how would you apply your gift to a paranormal investigation, like something I may go on?
Okay. One of the first things I focus on is belief systems. And in a paranormal investigation, you have to be able to work with the individuals who are witnessing the paranormal. And we need to be able to say, are they perceiving it as malevolent or malevolent? And is it hampering their lives? Then you need to get into the meat and the potatoes of what is it that they truly believe about what is malevolent? How would they define it? Then we need to be able to drill down even further and figure out exactly what it is that is going on in their lives that's bringing in the negativity. Like I said earlier on, even with your letter that you had read earlier on from one of your listeners, that energy flows where attention goes. If they're going through a lot of struggle, stress, and strife, they're going to be inviting that negative energy into their lives through their perception and what you believe is going to be real. It's the same as manifestation. People manifest, oh, I need $100. I need $100. I need $100. And they're focusing and they're focusing. Next thing you know, somebody comes by, oh, I forgot I owed you $100. Well, how I manifested it. Well, how is that any different from being able to manifest energies of the dearly departed? Either that or manifest the energy of just something negative, just a conglomerate of poop. Yeah, at the very least. Now, to go on to the other part of your question is how do my abilities work? Now, it's very interesting because I'm a time shifter. I can jump out to any date in time and through perception. I did this morning. That's how I found out the big initiative, the big thing that we're going to be seeing. We're going to start pushing things into law with those trees that I was mentioning. That's going to happen in 2027. That's the big initiative, but it's starting now. Okay. However, I want you to understand that I time shifted this morning while I was still laying in bed, like around 9:30 in the morning this morning. And I was speaking to you in the future. And I spoke to you and I asked you, hey, what's going on with this? And at the time, you and I didn't have this conversation just as of yet. So you're like, well, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about this. Yeah, I go look it up. Get on the internet, Shawn. And I communicated with you in time, telepathically and empathically. And you're like, oh, okay. I said, I'm going to ask you the question again in 5 minutes. Answer me. And you're like, oh, they just started more of it. They're pushing through laws through Congress. Okay.
It's funny. On a lighter note, I hear voices. I don't know if I'm crazy. I talk to a psychologist and a psychiatrist at least once every couple of months to make
Yeah.
sure I'm not crazy, because you don't need a crazy exorcist in your home. But I hear voices, and I could have swore one of the voices I heard this morning sounded just like you.
That was me. Yeah, that was me because we had that conversation. You told me, am I hearing your voice? You said it. You said it because we were sleeping at the same exact time. We were. So this morning, I was kind of like in a daze, but you were asleep and I was talking to you in your subconscious state. And you mentioned to me, am I hearing voices? What is this? And I knew that you were going to bring this up this evening. And I said to you, no. We're just doing this telepathic thing. You're fine. You're fine. And people are very telepathic all the time. People all over, my friends everywhere. Oh, I was just thinking of you, and here you are.
I think everybody is, and some
Yeah.
people get so frightened by when they realize they're gifted, and then they do whatever they can to shut it down. And I just wish I could explain to them that it's part of your spiritual being and what you're meant to be able to do. Just let it flow,
Yeah,
relax,
definitely,
take a chill
definitely.
pill,
Yeah,
relax.
I don't think it's so much about giftedness. I wanna I don't like that term. I really don't. I
Let
think
me
we're all
ask you
human
this,
beings,
in
we're capable.
just a couple of minutes I have left with you.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. I see spirit. I've seen the demonic, or what I perceive as what that is. I've seen what both have done to people, good or bad, and I try my best to help. I don't have all the answers, and I've never claimed to have them. Just when I think I've seen and heard it all, I see and hear something that blows me away. Sometimes I wonder if I'm crazy. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Very cool. Very cool. I
It's
didn't know.
residual. Yeah,
I
it's
couldn't remember
residual
if
energy.
if you had believed in ghosts or not. Certainly in your lifetime. I even remember the story you told me about sleeping on the pier, the little dock, the boat next to the boathouse behind the Amityville Horror House.
Yes, yes.
What certainly you've had some run-ins or confrontations or experience with spirit.
I did just a little whiles ago, a few hours ago. A friend of mine I haven't heard from anymore. Yeah, it went tap, tap, tap. And I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from you in ages. And the person said to me, I've crossed. And I went and I searched for them on Facebook. I searched for them on LinkedIn. I searched for them on Twitter. I searched for no activity in a very, very long time. I says, oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk before you crossed over. What's on? What's going on? What are you supposed to do? So there's been a lot of times. I mean, I even helped to be able to solve a murder case. An ex-boyfriend of mine, unfortunately, from New York City, ended up murdering his wife. And his
Um,
wife came to me and said to me, oh, and this is her in spirit, said to me, yeah, he told me all about you. I thought you were the only person I could be able to talk to. Can you go kick his ass? And I was like, well, I'll do what I can do through the district attorney's office and get him locked up for life. I'm not going after the guy. He's 6'5", 240 pounds. There's only so much I can do with a baseball bat, but I didn't say that. But anyway, so yeah, I ended up getting a hold of the DA's office, and all the information that she told me was verified. So I offered my condolences. I offered what I could, and they said, "Do you want to testify?" And then they were going to make it a Dateline, a 2020 thing, and the case was all over the news. And I backed out. I said, "Forget it. If this is going to be a 3-ring media circus, I'm not going to be able to contribute to this." And I apologized to this woman in spirit, and I said to her, "There are other people that are going to take care of this." And the DA's office was like, "We're going to subpoena you. We're going to, you have to come and you have to testify what you know about this person." I says, "You've got this in the bag. Don't worry about it. You need to believe in yourself." And they said, no, we're going to subpoena you. I says, "Good luck with that. You got this already. Stop it. You don't need my testimony. You've got this. He's going to life in prison. Will you please?" And he said, the district attorney was like, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Sure enough, he's in life in prison. They got him. So, but if I wouldn't have been able to contribute to the case or be able to give the DA the confidence that he needed, unless she came to me in spirit and she told me, listen, hey, help, I need a problem. But I try not to be able to do too much mediumship, because what a person says and what a person means can be very different from how I understand it, especially
right.
when we're dealing with telepathy and we're dealing with empathy and all of the elements that make up what telepathy actually is. So I want to be able to emphasize that. I would rather somebody just listen to a ghost box and get the words right from the person directly and say, make what you will if you want from it. I can help you to maybe and try to interpret it, but the person best.
This was a wonderful way to end the show, your story, because think about how special you were to that individual, that you guys had lost contact and hadn't talked in a long, long, long time. And
Yes.
then when it came time for them to cross over,
Yeah.
they thought to come to you and say goodbye in spirit. So you
Yeah.
must have been very special to that person.
Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. We were a clique. Definitely, we were a clique. And sometimes you'll go out of vibration with people. Sometimes they're very sick and they're suffering and they're fear-based and they're not ready to be able to cross over. And when a person goes out of vibration from somebody, in fear, when the other person is, feeling love and joy and happiness and positivity, that type of thing can happen. So, folks, when you go and you lose track of somebody, don't take it personally. Don't think it's because of something you did. The other people are having their own trials.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I love you. I respect you. I'm going to do my best to try and have you back. I know Facebook isn't one of your favorite places. I'm going to try to have you back though in the next before the year's over a couple of more times, because
Thank you.
everybody loves you. Everybody that, like I said, I got a lot of people that reached out to me this year going, where's she been? Because you still have a couple of profiles, but you're not on there much. Um, so listen, I appreciate you being here today. I'm so glad we were able to work this out. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful remainder of your Friday evening. Give your uh, your soldier boyfriend, who I am convinced you guys will be married one day. Give him a big
Aw.
cougar hug that only you can give him, and keep on. That's why you're called the Rock Psychic, because you rock.
Thank you. I love and appreciate you, and I respect you dearly, and I am in deep gratitude. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's always an honor.
Have a great evening. I'll talk to you soon.
Certainly. Thank you. You as well. Stay blessed.
Good night, Chicky.
Good night, Shawn.
Oh, it's already 3 o'clock. Let me hurry up. CommunityPayItForward.us. CommunityPayItForward.us. Go there. Find somebody that needs some help and help them. If you want to know more about the church that I belong to, the usocc.org. If you're interested in Bible study, which is Wednesday and Sunday afternoons at 5 p.m. Pacific, or night prayer, which is Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, you can go to bishopjameslong.com, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. The links to both those are there. Thank you to my co producers, Zach and Adrian Clayton. I couldn't do the show without them. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Pact, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting All Coming Together channel, and BeInspiredRadio.net, which will also be carrying my show. Thank all these networks for simulcasting my show. God bless you all for that. Um, that's why we do all this. It's a family. I will be here this coming. Oh my gosh, you guys know what Monday is. This Monday, the 30th, last Monday of the month. Happy Medium Monday. The Happy Medium live from Cape Cod. Susan Ahern will be here this coming Monday, the 30th, to give free live on air psychic readings. You got to tune in live because you have to type your question into the chat room for Susan, who will read it and give you your live reading. That's this Monday, January 30th, 2023. All right, guys, bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke out of this haunted carnival Barker hat that one of you sent in. Sent in the joke, that is. And it's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night and have a great weekend. This is a pretty good one. Did you hear the one about the mediocre restaurant on the moon? It has great food but no atmosphere. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. I love you all. Peace.